Yeah, what's up? This is Cyber Occurrence. Rain back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-telepathy all day, anti-America all day, and everybody with them, yeah. So this video basically is going to be about the campaign that I'm running, the 40 states. You know I'm going to be on it. Anytime the enemy show up, we're going to hit right back. We're going to hit right back every time. Every time you show your face every day, and it ain't a sidestep. We attacking back, because at this point everything has changed. We can admit that, right? They went from chasing me around thinking I'm some sex predator to finding out that that's not true, and finding out that 40 states allows adults to have sex with children, and we have 12 states, which is a quarter of the country, that allows no minimum age, which means in these 12 countries in America in 2022, grown men can marry girls as low as 7 years old. Grown women can marry boys as low as 7 years old as well. There's no gender separation. A woman can marry a 7-year-old boy. A woman can marry a 12-year-old boy here in America. Oh yeah, I'm about to hit on doing a video on that, because you just been thinking about it as a man, but in reality, hey, the women can do it too. A woman can have sex in 40 states with a little boy, a 16-year-old boy. A fully grown woman can marry a 12-year-old boy in Massachusetts. Now you see how whacked out that sounds? And you think you messing with me. You out your mind. Everything has changed. And you can acknowledge it or not acknowledge it. While you're living in the altered reality, everyone that knows this, it's all changed. Everything has changed. We are now introduced to the real America. While you're living, before COVID happened, you're probably in that world before COVID. Then you're in a world that you don't even know these laws. So you're in a world where you don't even know the laws about 40 states having sex with children, 12 states allowing no minimum age, which means a man can marry any age as low as 7 years old, and I'm living in a world according to COVID-19, and you're not. You're still in denial. You still think it's going to go away and it's going to turn back to normal, when that has never happened in any history. There's never no country that went 3 years backwards. How you going to go back 3 years when all these dead people? You lost your mind. You're an idiot. A lot of you are. But this video is going to be also concerning the 40 states allows adults to have sex with children campaign. And what we're touching on today is going to be, the title is, it is sin if it violates your conscience. It is sin if it violates your conscience. It is sin if it violates your conscience. Okay? So 40 states allows adults to have sex with children. Any Americans want to have sex with children? Someone that's under age of 18? Any Americans feel that that's right? So what that means is, for the most part of us normal, sound-minded Americans that heads are in the right place, it's a sin to us to be with children. It violates our conscience. It violates the conscience of everyday Americans. So if they were to have sex with someone unknowingly that they thought was an adult and they was not, this would violate their conscience. They would feel that this was sin and wrong. Therefore, for the average American, having sex with someone that's under 18 is sin. It's wrong to them. It violates their conscience, in other words. So that's a perfect example. Someone has sex with someone, you see it all the time. They thought they was a certain age, and they find out that they're under the age of 18. This would be a sin or a violation of the conscience of most Americans. You get where I'm going with this? So that means 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children is a sin to most Americans. It means it's a violation of the conscience of most Americans, which is sin. This would violate the conscience, meaning the place in your brain that tells you something is either wrong or right. Some people have no conscience. You know, you can see them outside riding around, playing games. They have no conscience. But us that do have a conscience, it is seen. Our conscience tells us right from wrong. So if most Americans feel that it is not right to have sex with any children, period, that's how most of us feel. We don't feel that there's certain ages we can have sex with that is not children. We almost wait till they're legal. That's what most men do. We wait till they're legal. Legal means 18, not under 18. So the standard for most Americans by culture is they have to be legal. That's the term that most Americans use. They have to be legal. So 40 states allowing adults to have sex with people that are not legal violates the conscience of most Americans. Therefore, it is sin to this country, not anywhere else. I'm not talking about anywhere else. I'm talking about right here where people wait to children are legal. Some men say they wait for children. They wait for them to be 18. Okay? So there's nobody on the average that's around here that is fiending for underage children. There's no one around here trying to be with someone under 18, right? Okay. So why is that? Because it's wrong to you. It violates your conscience. It violates the right and wrong in your mind. Not nowhere else, right here. Because as long as it violates your mind, you don't get to cut and paste and say, well, they do it. No, but I'm talking about you. It violates your mind. You don't feel that it's right for adults to have sex with children, right? You don't feel it's right. So 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children is wrong to you. It violates your conscience. It's wrong to your mind. And also 12 states, which is a quarter of the country, allowing adults to marry no minimum age, which means they can marry down to 7, is wrong to everybody. If that's not good enough for you. So you are definitely in a country that is doing things by law with adults with children sexually that is against the conscience of most average human beings. It is wrong to most people for 12 states to allow no minimum age, which means adults can marry as low as 7 and 5 years old. Right here in America in February 9th, 2022. They can go right downtown and start putting in paperwork. In these 12 states, marrying as low as 5 and 7 years old right now in America. How's that for you patriots? How can you stand with a country that has no minimum age? Go look it up. Go Google it. Go Google. If you don't believe me, go Google 12 states allowing adults to have sex with children. Well, let me put it like this. 12 states, no minimum age. Google that. Google 12 states, no minimum age. And you will see exactly what I'm talking about. That's factual, that is in law right now, not in the process of being in the law, in law right now. Okay, and that would violate the conscience. Therefore, that would be the nail in the coffin for violating the conscience of the better good of the people, violating the conscience of the people. This is wrong to all Americans, most Americans, that in 12 states, a quarter of the country, people can go downtown in their county, wherever they stay in those 12 states, in any county in those 12 states, many counties in one state, in all those counties, In all those 12 states, they can go downtown and put in paperwork to marry as low as 7 years old. This goes against the conscience of Americans. This is wrong to Americans. Therefore, the punchline, it is sin to you. It is sin to your people. It is sin to your country. The worst sin, another punchline, against children. There's nothing worse than that. 12 states allow you to marry as low as 7 years old. Yeah, you can say you wouldn't do it, but there are people that do it. Just because you don't see them have cameras, and use your common sense. They're doing it. If it's in law, you don't think nobody's doing it. Have you ever been on an internet page and you just seen how many viewers are in a video or something like that? Let's just look at these laws as like something on the internet. You don't think they have no participators, zero participators. And these laws are they're in effect now. Just think about an internet page where back in the day when the internet first came out, you seen these, you might see a discussion group or, and they have different different little web rooms, if you will, different little internet rooms, you know what I mean? And they have many viewers. You don't think this has many people that's doing it? And it's in 12 states, which is a quarter of your country, not to mention 40 states that allows adults to have sex with children. And you have the lowest age for consent for sex in all of world history. There's nobody in world history that has a lower record of age for the age of consent than you, which we know that age being 7 years old. Yes, America had, by government, they put in law by government, 7 years of age by the government that you can have sex with. That's the age that they allowed men to have sex with. 7 years old, putting their penis in a 7-year-old vagina. You think that's right? Your American government did. I don't care what time it happened. It's the same system that exists now. It's not the same. It's not two different empires. It's the same empire that exists now that allows 7 years of age as the age of consent for sex. Okay? So based on that, most people will want this system burned down. We don't care when it happened. We care that it did happen. We care that it did happen. And that your government had no conscience or care for those children in that state and allowed 7-year-old girls to be penetrated by laws from the American government. And then you got the nerve to try to witch hunt somebody. Please set R. Kelly free. Please set R. Kelly free. When you done had the lowest age of consent for sex worldwide in worldwide history. And you sitting up acting pious and self-righteous like you don't know what brought him to do something that he did. Ignorant. You know what ignorant means? Unlearned. You're unlearned of your own laws. You're the only country that don't study your laws. You don't even know when you're being violated. You don't even know when you're being taken advantage of. That's how they get you. They know you don't study the laws. It don't matter what laws it is. You don't know none of them. The only laws you know about cigarettes and alcohol. That's how much of an idiot you are. Okay, I'm going to give you a scripture on it. James 4:17. James 4:17. And it reads, therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. Read it again. James 4:17. Therefore to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. Not to everybody in the world. Not to everybody across the world, not other countries. Therefore, to him that knoweth to do good and doeth it not, to him it is sin. It's to the one that know to do the right thing and you ain't doing it. That's sin to you. You know that no 7-year-old kids in history should have never, in no place in time, should have been having sex with no adults. To you, it is sin. While you sitting up looking for the next scandal, while you looking up thinking you playing with me, you ain't playing with me. I know who you really are. These other ignorant Americans don't. I know who you really are. I know you got the lowest age of consent on world record history. Meaning you have had sex with the youngest age in all of the world. You have the world history for the youngest age that man have had sex with. Here in America, not Canada, not any other bordering countries. America, right here in Kansas, the center, all of this, mainland America. And you sitting up thinking you got the right you ain't got the right to judge nobody. Have seats, please. All of y'all have seats. Okay? I don't want to be a part of you. I don't want to be a part of you in any kind of form or fashion. You disgust me. You do. You disgust me with your hypocrisy. And you can bring the best of them. Ain't no man in the world can look me in the face, judge, CIA, FBI, when you have laws that you have put in place that allows adults to have sex with children in 40 states and 12 states that has no minimum age, which means they can marry the lowest minimum age, and you have the lowest the world record for the lowest age of consent for sex in world history. You can't look me in the, I don't care what, you could be 007 James Bond. You know what I'm telling 007? You know what I'm telling James Bond? You have the lowest age of consent in world record history. 40 states allows adults to have sex with children, which violates the conscience of most Americans, and they do not agree with any age under 18 in being legal. They don't agree with any age under being legal. And you have 12 states that allows no minimum age, which means an adult can marry any age as low as 7 years old. That's what I tell 007 for America. You can be the baddest little sport you think you are in the military, and I'll tear you to pieces with this information. Because these are laws passed by who? Me or your government? The government that you serve. You can be bad. You can be the baddest little sport for any branch of the military you choose and please. You can't beat this because your government put it into law. Your government allows adults to have sex with children. This is information that everybody cares about. This is information enough to collapse your system, period. It's too much of a corruption. Yeah, people care about this enough. This ain't about food. This ain't about food stamps. This ain't about race. This is about children, and they have the lowest age of consent in world history. Meaning over Africa, over Nigeria, over Philippines, over China, Japan, and any other country you want to name. No one has put into law the 7 years of age for the age of consent. No country has ever put that into law. And ain't no fool can sit up and battle me. How you gonna battle that? You're torn to shreds. Ain't nobody playing but you. Ain't nobody playing but you. And this information is getting out. You might think you got me controlled. You might think you got me boxed in and surrounded. I'm putting this information everywhere. How you got me boxed in? COVID-19 is out there. I'll be quarantining anyway. Who you think you got boxed in? You ain't changing nothing that I'm doing. I would be in the house anyway. I would be somewhere in a house anyway and would still be surrounded by crazy people on top of that. Would none be much different. Keep that in mind while you're playing your little games. Because you want to tell you something? I'm having the greatest satisfaction bringing you to hit. So this ain't a place of torture. I'm having the greatest satisfaction knowing that you have the lowest age of consent in world history. And here you are trying to incriminate folks. I have the greatest pleasure in your hypocrisy. And what you gonna say? This is the mind of people, of politicians and lawmakers, not the mind of some weirdo. These are the people in the government that allows 40 states to have sex with children, allow 12 states, which is a quarter of this country, to have no minimum age, which means they can marry any age they want. This is right here in America, the minds of the politicians in the 12 states that allows no minimum age was just signed into office, signed into law less than 3 years ago. Just less than 3 years ago, guys. Just in case you think this is some dusty 1950 information, less than 3 years ago. Ain't nothing they can say. You done barked up the wrong tree and you done got your head blowed off with a 12 gauge. Yeah, you pulled up, but you got your head blowed off. Because now we're in a whole different world now with this information, whether you like it or not. Everybody's gonna change on you. When you got 40 states allowing adults to have sex with children, you have 12 states right now in America that allows a man to marry any age. Not 18, not 17, 16, lower. It says no minimum age. Right now in 2022. And you doing what? You trying to figure out what? You trying to see who what is? Okay, it seems like you the enemy against everybody's values. It seems like you the enemy against everybody's conscience. Because this violates the conscience of most hard-working Americans. You think they would like to know that 12 states allows no minimum age, which means adults can marry any age they want? In 12 states, a quarter of your country? You think hardworking Americans would like to know that 40 states, the age of consent is below 18 in 40 states, which is the majority of the country, which this means this is the way the majority of the country feels? You think these hardworking blue-collar people would like to know this? I don't think so, buddy, and they finding it out. I'm putting it on CNN videos. I'm putting it on NBC videos. Yeah, just in case you thought I was slipping. Just in case you thought this was my audience, the surrounding people on Astoria Boulevard, I am putting it on YouTube, CNN videos all over. I'm putting this information out there. I'm bringing the fight to these fools. That's what I'm doing. While you sitting up playing patty cake, think you in a whole alter reality, buddy. You can't be serious fighting me. You little secret society fools. I'm doing something. I'm bringing information about your complete government. Your government. You fools, you can't fight me. Are you beneath me? Why should I even address you? I only address you basically so people are aware for their good. For the most part. Yeah. And the real history of what's going on, for record's sake. Yeah, you lose this battle, buddy, because there's nobody in their right mind. Now, maniacs, weirdos, crazy people that need to be put down like a rabid dog, which they will be as COVID progresses. Now, they don't count. We're talking about truly sound-minded people that have families. This country has 12 states that allows adults to have sex, to marry in 12 states, any age. Right here in America, 12 states allows adults to marry. They can take these kids home. That's worse. That's worse than the age of consent in 40 states being under 18. Because they get to take these kids home like a Happy Meal. Like they done went to McDonald's drive-thru and got a Happy Meal. Because that's basically the equivalent of a child, is a Happy Meal. You should want a fully grown woman. sitting up messing around me, I don't have no problem with women. Women don't have no problem with me. Better go check my real records and reputation. I don't have no problem with women. Seems that you do. It seems like you have a problem with women because you're going to children. You're allowing 40 states to have sex with underage children. What's wrong with the women? You got 12 states that allows no minimum age, which means people can marry as low as 5 and 7. What's wrong with the women? What's wrong with all these gorgeous women out here? These voluptuous women with full developed breasts and buttocks. What's wrong with that? That's what men should want. It looks like you have the problem with women, not me, partner. You got 12 states that allows no minimum age for a man to marry a 12 and 8-year-old girls. In Massachusetts, a man can marry, or a woman can marry a 12-year-old girl or boy. You tell me what's wrong with that picture. I'm talking about right now. For all you that's thinking this old, this is in effect right now. Not in some